Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nina Gervase Show. Today we're going to talk about something that has been happening for me, and it's the idea of saying no. Being able to say, I can't put this on my calendar. I can't take on one more thing because that's something that I love to do is extend my help to other people. But you know what? That is not helping me. So, if this is who you can be as well, stay tuned because we today are going to go through what are the emotions that you are experiencing when you are being asked, when you say yes and then have to turn around and say no, or are you strong enough to say no to begin with? So, let's start with one of the things that I love to do is be involved in events that educate others. I love to be a part of different, like big either presentations or other things that will bring high level content to the greater, well, let's say, real estate agent population. And they will be able to grow from it. Love, 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 love. However, if I continue to say yes to participating in big events like that, and by say participating, I mean assisting to organize, I am going to have less time available. And I know this for other things that I really want to organize and do on, let's say, my coaching business, such as this, or my book that I'm writing, and so forth. So I have to be cognizant of this. Now, so let's talk about, all right, you get asked, hey, do you want to serve on this committee? And my natural instinct as a helper, as a doer, is always like, sure, I would love to be a part of this. And I got to tell you, part of what's inside of me when that happens is a little bit like, why did you just say that? You know how much of a commitment this is going to require from you. You know how much this is going to leave you unavailable for other things that you want to do. So there's always, tell me if you feel it, that little tinge of crap. Why did I say that when you said yes? I have that. Like I have it often where it's not a hell yeah, even though I made it sound like one. It's not necessarily a hell yeah. It's one of those like instinct is to say yes, but I should have taken the time to think before answering because when we take the time to pause and think about what our answer will be when asked to do something, man, I swear most of us will have much different responses. Not necessarily always no, but perhaps more questions first, such as, well, what is the time commitment involved? Tell me more about who this serves. Tell me more about what this will look like in terms of after the event is over. Is this like a 1, 2, 3 year commitment? When it comes to planning events, oftentimes people would love to have you as part of their committee for 2 to 3 years because now you're seasoned in it. You can help educate the future members of the committee before you decide to cycle off of the committee. So if you pause, which I don't always do clearly, and you ask the right questions, gather the right questions before saying yes or no, you'll probably start to even feel better right away. So could go something like this. Hey, Nina, we would love for you to serve on this committee for the Realtor Association. And I would normally be like, oh my gosh, that sounds phenomenal. Because I'm an excited person, right? Like I get really excited about things. Instead, I could say, hey, that sounds really interesting. See the difference? Well, clear difference. That sounds really interesting. Can you tell me more about it? So, what is the time commitment involved? And who is part of this committee? And what's their background? What does that look like? You want to know not just time commitment right now, but down the road as it gets closer to the event, what will the event be like, and so forth. I'm using an event as an example, even though it could be anything in our lives that we always say yes to and put more on our plates. Asking the right questions up front, pausing and doing that can really give clarity as to what your answer may be. It may be on your heart that this is something that you really should do. And you may have to actually put parameters as to what your availability will be if you decide to commit to something. So it's okay to go ahead and commit And they have a certain requirement request for what your time commitment would be, but you may need to negotiate and say, I would actually really love to be a part of this. However, I can only give this many hours of my week to this. I won't be available during these hours and these days. I would, if this is something that you could still, use me in this capacity, I would love to be a part of it. Be specific, protect your time, because the more that you get burnt out on this, you're not going to be able to do something good somewhere else. Okay. Getting those questions answered, putting the parameters around your time, really, really important. Because sometimes we say yes, we overextend ourselves. I mean, strong, powerful women are ones that love to be out there and helping and seeing others grow. And so we commit. And then, yeah, sometimes we have to pull back. I know that my daughter is in a situation now where she committed to something, and she feels horrible that she has had to step back from it. And before she went into this lab situation, she knew ahead of time, like, oh, I don't know, it just might be too much, but I'm gonna try. Before she even started, she really had that tinge of, in her heart, her gut feeling of, I'm not so sure this is what I should do. And now that she's having to back out, a sigh of relief that she has backed out and got her time back, but she feels bad about it. She feels bad about letting people down. We never, well, I got to say, at least I never really want to let people down that I have already committed to. If I've already committed to something and now I have to pull out, man, I feel just like, no good. So I got to imagine that you're feeling that way as well, right? So, I mean, it's just human nature that you've committed and now you're like, sorry, can't do this. You feel a little bit inside like no good. So the lesson here is listening to your instincts before you're saying yes. If you're saying yes and you're, committing to something, but you have this little like, oh, I'm just not so sure. Number one, listen to the instinct. Number two, voice your instinct. Maybe you should tell whoever is heading up the committee, the lab, or whatever the case may be, listen, I just have a feeling that this might get to be too much for me, and talk it out with the person and see if this is the right commitment for you. As I said, pulling back after you've committed can feel bad. Now, the other thing is just outright saying no, that feeling of, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to disappoint them when I say no. Or, what will they think of me if I say no to what it is they've requested? What if they never ask me again because I've said no to this thing? There is I mean, like women, I think we love to pile on the guilt, the guilt, the guilt, the overthinking for a lot of situations like this. And there is just no need. Do you know that by you saying no to something, you may be opening up an opportunity for somebody who really should be in that position to step into it? When you say no, just trust that the universe has a plan, that somebody else is meant to fill those shoes. Trust that you will also be used for something else greater down the road or even right now. Your no doesn't have to be overthinking, what are they going to think of me? Will they ever think of me again? Do they now think I'm a bad person for saying no to this? Drop it. Drop all of that stuff. Leave it behind you. It is not worth carrying that on. Trust that the universe is going to put somebody better suited for that in that role. Trust that the universe has something better for you to do because now you've said no. It's opened up other opportunities for you. A no is not a straight out done. They can come back to you somewhere down the road and you can even have that conversation. This is not the right position for me right now. This is not the right volunteer option for me right now, whatever the case may be. But I would love it if you kept me in mind for something down the road. The timing just isn't right. Whatever the case may be, have that conversation with the person on the other side so that they do think of you down the road if it's something that you want. And then, if you have somebody who you think might be able to fill that role, it would be smart for you to encourage them to consider this with this person. So that's another thing. Like you may know somebody who could fill that role better than you. Why not suggest it? You know your friends and your family, you know your colleagues that might be able to do something better than you. Go for it. In fact, the person who has asked you may even respect you more for putting somebody else in that role. Hey, I'm not the right person for this, but I have somebody who is for you. And then go ahead and give them their contact info and connect them. So I know it's a lot to say no. It's a lot to say yes and then have to pull back. It's a lot to have all of these like thoughts going through your head. What if I'm a bad person? What if this? What if they think this of me? Like, y'all, we need to leave all that crap behind. Number one, we're going to listen to our guts. We're going to pay attention to, is this a hell yeah or is this a hell no? We are going to pause, think, ask the right questions, get the right information about what it is we're being requested to do. Ensure that you are putting parameters around your time and protecting your time and sticking to it, not being bulldozed because they need extra help, reminding them, this is the time that I have available to be able to do this. I'm not doing this on weekends or whatever the case may be, whatever you've set in place. And being able to say no and understand the universe has something better for you and for that other person. So that is all I have for you today. A lot of heavy stuff that came out because I'm going through some stuff managing my calendar. My daughter was going through some stuff managing her calendar. And I got to imagine all y'all have the same thing going on too. I mean, none of us are living in our own little vacuum with nobody else around us. We all experience the same things in that way. One time or another in our lives, we go through this. And I just hope that this just made you be like, oh, crap, great. I'm happy. I am not alone. I am not the only one going through this. I'm so grateful that there are other people who get it, who get where I'm coming from and really just are able to either say no, pull back, whatever the case may be. You have the permission to take care of yourself. Strong, powerful, independent women don't have to do everything. It is important that you protect your time. All right. So until next time, thank you so much for listening to the Nina Gervase Show.